Morning. Morning. What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back, my friends. Alrighty. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the stream. Hope everyone's having a good Monday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Giants tied. What a disaster that was. Amazing daily relaxing music and sounds. Love that. I could use some of that. What's up, Jacob? What's on my face? A little pimple. I am pumped for this week. Yeah, should be an interesting week. Yeah, I lost on my end phase position. Sure did. Lost 400. But I did not lose in my Shopify position. I'll tell you that. Cold in Philly? Yeah, it's been beautiful in Florida. Florida has been this is the best weather. This is when it's nice to live in Florida. When it's not 90 degrees and 70% humidity. It's 64. Just beautiful. Morning. All right. So we'll get started here today. So last week we ended the week off with a interesting day. We came into the live stream right on Friday. If you guys remember, of course you should. I hope you do. Came into the morning. We had the non-farm payrolls caused that downside on the market. Held some important levels, and at open we basically just dripped and sort of grinded higher the entire day. Reclaimed the 200 SMA on the ES, reclaimed some important levels on the NASDAQ, and just closed basically where we started. So a very, very interesting day. How does that sort of work? How does that continue today? That is going to be on everyone's. That's going to be on everyone's mind. How does that long-term downtrend on the ES play out this week? Do we hold that 200 SMA on the ES? I think that is some of the most important things to be watching this week. I think it's going to be on everyone's watch, and we should be watching it as well. So that's really what we're going to focus on today. What happened Friday? What do we look like today? Some stocks that I'm watching, some setups that I'm watching, and try our best to prepare this Monday. As always, guys, on Mondays, I like to keep it slow. I like to keep it easy because, it's the first day of the week. We don't need to be going crazy. We got to get a good idea of what's going on here. New day, new week, new opportunities. But we got to see what this market looks like early Monday morning to get a good picture of what that continuation move may look like. So let's go ahead, get some levels going. Get some good watches for the day. Check out the economic calendar and all that good stuff. So today, as always, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna start. I have this pulled up. Here's my long-term in M1. You guys can get an M1 long-term account. So this is my month on M1. Been very nice. Up 4,400, 12%. But obviously I'm still down on the year. So you can see if I go to, let me make sure I don't have any personal details here. Okay, here's all time here. So here's all time my position or my portfolio. So I'm down about 9%. So this has been crawling back very nicely. Just been continuing to add, and just wanted to give you an update on my long term. For the year, down 9%. I've been buying every single week since the beginning of this year. So you obviously know that it's been a tough time just dollar cost averaging. But as you know, I buy stocks with money I can afford to lose. And this Shopify position, I'm very happy with. My average there on Shop is $34. Getting excited about this one. But wanted to give you guys an update there on the long term. The last month has been very nice. Still down on Tesla. Shop has been nice. Nvidia's been really, really good. AMD's been good. Lulu's been nice. Netflix, the Netflix position that I've been getting into has been strong. Some of the underperformers, Tesla, and then I got my little Rumble shares down there. Yeah, that's my long term. You can borrow money on M1. You can do like portfolio loans. You can take portfolio loans out at a really low percent. I've been doing that a little bit. So just want to give you an update there. That's my long term. I'll always share this with you. This is not my SEP IRA. My SEP IRA is a little bit bigger. That's the one I sort of keep private. But the M1 is, I'm willing to share this one. So that's that. Figured I'd share it with you guys today, give you an update on it. So futures, economic earnings calendar. Let's pull up that economic calendar. Here it is, economic. So today is December 5th, Monday. Here we go. So today at 9:45, we have U.S. Services PMI. That's definitely something to watch out for 15 minutes after open. I love when we get that news after open. It always makes it a little difficult to trade early morning. Whenever we have news come out like 15 minutes after open, especially on a Monday, on the voice chat in the Discord, I'm typically just saying I'm not touching anything. Or if I am in anything, I'll almost always exit the position before this comes out because you just never quite know. When what's going to happen on these PMI numbers. So 9:45, guys, please be careful. If you are in a trade at 9:45, please be cautious holding through this type of event. You do not know what's going to happen. It could totally screw up your position. Please be careful at 9:45 today. Also, 10 a.m. ISM Services Index, factory orders as well. We'll see if there's any movement off that. But I think the big one here is 9:45 U.S. Services PMI. So watch out. Tomorrow, nothing really, honestly. Nothing really on the docket there tomorrow. Trade deficit, I don't think this really moves the market much. So December 6th, tomorrow, nothing really on the economic. Really nothing here either. Consumer credit's interesting, just to get that might be an interesting thing to see what consumer credit's looking like. That's at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Normal jobless claims on Thursday, and 5-year inflation expectations, consumer sentiment on Friday. So not a huge week. This is the week after this week is the big week, right? We can clearly see that. Look at this, Tuesday, December 13th, CPI. That's huge. What else do we have? Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Wednesday. Jobless claims, retail sales, manufacturing PMI again. So next week is going to be heavy, right? This is big. 13th, 14th, even the 15th. Three very big economic news. Three big economic days here next week. So let's watch out for that. Let's be careful of that into next week. All right. Earnings calendar. I haven't even looked at it this week because I have no interest in earnings anymore, like playing earnings. But I mean, I guess it's good to keep an eye out for it, of course. But I barely get interested in earnings anymore. I've had my days. I've had my earnings days. I've learned the hard way. I've learned, I've had some good ones, but mostly bad ones, and I just don't really get interested anymore. But today, nothing. AutoZone, MongoDB, Dave & Buster's, if you guys really want to get involved in that. Stitch Fix, Toll Brothers. I'm just naming off ones I've seen before. Smith & Wesson, if you like guns. Academy Sports. I don't know how that's still a public company. GameStop. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be so many people trying to buy calls on that, which is just totally asinine. Costco is probably the biggest one. Costco, Lulu, DocuSign, Restoration Hardware, Manchester United. Look at that. Manchester United. But yeah, Thursday, I think is probably your big day. Costco is actually a legitimate part of the market. Lululemon's an interesting one. DocuSign is dead, but we'll see what it does. And you got Broadcom, Restoration, Man U. But the big one's Costco, I think, here. So just watch out for Thursday of this week on the economic side. Okay? All right. So that's that. Tesla, a little bit of news this morning on Tesla. We got two pieces of news this morning. We got good and bad. I guess you could say good and bad. One, the good side is record sales out of China for Tesla. Record sales for their cars in China, so that's a positive. The other new piece of news that came out was that they are limiting their production out of their Shanghai factory. So Tesla this morning is down more than most stocks, so it looks like it is being taken as a slightly negative catalyst. So just watch out for that today. You got two pieces of news this morning out of Tesla. Increased or record sales in China, but also declining their production out of the Shanghai factory, probably for obvious reasons. But on the flip side of that, which we will talk about in this live stream a little bit, those China restrictions seem to be sort of slowing down. Now, if you guys have been around the market for a while, if you see the game that goes on, if you sort of see what happens over time, if you've experienced short-term pain or short-term things that go on, you could probably put your money on the side that China is going to eventually very much slow down on these restrictions, and China is going to be just fine, right? I don't think China is going to drive themselves into a terrible economic situation. Now, who knows? I can't speak for China, but we all know that we see these very aggressive or these very big, short-term news articles that everyone goes crazy over. And then usually a few months go by, maybe a year goes by, it all starts to fade away like it never happened, right? We all know this. If you've been part of the market, you know this. So we'll see how that whole China situation works out. But I would be if I was a betting man, I would bet on the side that China continues to restrict, continues to ease their restrictions. Right, that would be I would be on that side of the book. That would be my bet, because I don't think China is going to be putting themselves into a worse situation than they have to be. But who knows? I can't speak for them. But that is why the Asian market is up 5% this morning. So the HSI, the Hang Seng Index, is up 5% right now. That is a lot. It's up 851 points, 842 points, up 4.5%. And this is because of China easing their restrictions. So that is why you have Baba, Baidu, Neo, all the Asian market names. That's why they're all up so much this morning. It's because China over the weekend, or obviously Sunday as we were sleeping, news came out that they are easing the restrictions, causing the Asian market to go up and causing Baidu, Baba, and all that to gap up this morning. So if you swung those and you got a piece of this HSI up 5%, congratulations. I mean, that's a big win, all right? Those Baba names, the Baidu names, all those, they have such big gaps. If you're on the right side of a big gap up, you can make some serious money. But, of course, you're guessing on the gap up. But it's definitely something that I know a lot of people trade. So that's what's happening this morning. That's a little update. Microsoft 250 retest. This is something I'm watching. I'm actually in this. Meta retest on Friday. Very nice. But Boeing, some news out of Boeing on Friday that who was it? I think they're basically winning. They're winning a bid from if I read it right, they are winning out a bid from Jesus. What is the name? United Airlines. United Airlines reports to close a deal to buy dozens of 787 Dreamliners. There was some note that they were sort of taking priority from Airbus, but I don't know exactly how that all worked out. I didn't read enough into it. But United Airlines closed to buy dozens of Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Boeing has had a very nice run over the last few weeks, and it had a very nice retest level that I want to share with you today. FedEx 180 retest. I want to show you this. Shopify holding 4150, and then Costco. Costco has had a very big downside move over the last few days, approaching earnings. Is this an opportunity on Costco? Maybe in the short term. Is it maybe a long-term opportunity? I don't know, but I'm going to share it with you guys, give you my thoughts on it today. All right? So let's get started. Let's get a good picture of what's going on. Let's take a look at what happened Friday. Let's see what's happening today. Let's just get a good look at what's going on here. So hourly chart on the NASDAQ. Here's sort of what I'm watching on the NASDAQ in the short term. So I'm focused on sort of this short-term picture right here. The first level that I want to see today, if we get tested, which it looks like we might test it here soon, is this 11,930, 11,900 area on the NASDAQ. It's this previous high right here. This previous high area, I want to see what happens if we test it again today. If we go into the 1-minute chart on the NASDAQ on Friday, we can see that on Friday we sort of consolidated in this zone. So we got back into this zone. We sort of rejected it a little bit, but we ended up turning it into support once again into Friday afternoon, into Friday close. This zone right here, this 11,930, 11,900 area, which is the previous high. If I go to the hourly chart, you can see that is the previous high right here. I am interested in this area. What happens in this area today? This previous high, we saw it consolidate there intraday on Friday. What happens if we pull back to this 930 area? That's my first watch today. If we break through this low, if we break through this zone, if we start falling through this support, then I think you probably could have a chance of retesting that 750, 700 area. That is the previous low here. That is the previous rejection here. And that is where we held on Friday after the non-farm payrolls. So if we cannot hold this previous high here, then I think you could see, this move to 750 again. That would be important. Now, the big downside, right? The big downside momentum driver is if we lose Friday's lows. That's going to be my clear-cut picture. Okay, this is definitely getting weak now. If we lose Friday's lows, then we should definitely expect some weakness, right? If we drop below that non-farm payrolls move, if we go to the 5-minute, right? If we trade back into Friday's lows, if we start to fall below them, right down here, back at this 750, then we definitely know that, that momentum is starting to come into the downside. So 750, that's a big level down there. That's where we held Friday on the non-farm payrolls. We got the push higher. I'm going to watch this little area here around 930, 11,930, which is the previous high. Sort of a previous support here as well. Previous rejection right here. And if I keep going, we'll see if it goes. It's not going to go that far. Let me go to the 30-minute or the 30-day. You know what? Just go back to the hourly. So you can see right here, right? Previous rejection. Let's see what happens in that area. If we don't hold that, 750, 700, Friday's lows, that's what I'd be watching. And then on the upside, right, we can clearly see it is still very tough up here around that 12,100, 12,070 area. If I pop on the daily SMAs, we can also see that that is the 100 SMA up there that is causing some rejections. So 100 SMA on the NASDAQ causing some rejections up here around 12,000. This looks like a very heavy level in here, right? We can clearly see how heavy it is up here around this 12,070, 12,020, 100 SMA, very heavy to the upside. Now, do I think it's the NASDAQ that's causing the heaviness? Not really. I think it's the ES, right? I think the ES is sort of running the show here. Now, the reason for that is because the ES is at that long-term downtrend. So if the ES is rejecting on the long-term downtrend, right, the NASDAQ's not going to continue higher. So I think the NASDAQ is obviously being weighted down by that ES, which is at the long-term downtrend that is starting to reject. So 11,930, 11,750, 100 SMA, and 1170 above. We're sort of in this range right now. We'll have to see how we trade out of that. Here's the ES, right? Very, very clear picture on the ES. I think the ES makes a little bit more sense than the NASDAQ. So you guys can see CPI on Wednesday, Jerome Powell, we got that big push right into the long-term downtrend. Look at what's been happening at that long-term downtrend. It's pretty much perfect on the rejections, right? Rejection, 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 all just sort of lower highs right on the downtrend. So it's definitely respecting the downtrend. There's no doubt about that. So watch that long-term downtrend. That is a must-watch. It's all about that, right? I think this is why I think the ES is sort of driving the picture here, or driving the move here off that long-term downtrend. 200 SMA and the previous highs at 40.50, I think is a very big watch today. You guys can see right here, previous high, 40.50. If I go into the 1-minute chart from Friday, you guys can see how we sort of held that level into close on Friday. So you can see Friday, we regained 40.50, we regained the 200 SMA, and we held it into close. So you can see the little support, and then the push into close. That was a hold of the 200 SMA and 40.50 into close on Friday. Now, if we come over into today, you can see we are right back at that level. So I think this is the most important. These two levels are the most important levels to watch today on the market. 40.50, 200 SMA on the ES, and the long-term downtrend. I don't think there is really anything else that needs to be watched. All right? You can see right here, rejection, 200 SMA. Does it hold? And do we get a push into that long-term downtrend? Breaking the 200 SMA, that probably gets you back to this Friday low, right? You break that 200, you start to get weak here. You're probably coming back to that Friday low area, right around that 4,005. Okay? So watch that 200 SMA today on the ES. Very important. Have I ever written options? Yes, I have. I write covered calls on my long-term shares in my IRA. All right. So Dow Jones. Previous highs, 34,250. That's the level to watch, right? We talked about this one last week. If I zoom in here, you guys can see we had the previous highs right here. All this consolidation. We came back to it, held it as support. We came back down. We sort of did the same move as the Dow or the ES and the NASDAQ. Came back to these previous highs right here, around 33,950. Right, this is an area to watch here, 33,950. Let me delete this because it's really just this low. So 33,950 right there is that Friday low. That's the previous highs right here. You can see we bounced off of it. Now, if we're moving back down to these previous highs, let me go ahead and go into the 30-minute. You guys can see right here. See this previous support? That's what I would be looking for today. Does the Dow hold here once again? 34,250. You can see the support that stepped in on Thursday of last week. I would be looking to see, does the Dow hold 34,250 today? If the Dow can hold 34,250, maybe there's a possibility for another upside push. If the Dow breaks below 34,250, then again, it's the same thing as the other markets. Friday's lows, right? You can see all the markets have a level of support. And then if we break Friday's lows, level of support here on the NASDAQ. And then if not, Friday's lows. So you got to watch these levels. 11,930 area on the NASDAQ, 4,050, 200 SMA on the ES. And then on the Dow, it is right here, 34,250, right? That's what I would be watching. On the Russell, the little Russell, that I really don't care much about, but I will show it to you because people get mad when I don't. Russell, that level that we just talked about is 1870 right here. 1870 has to hold. If not, Friday's lows, 1840. But the Russell's a shit show, and I have no interest in small caps, so not going to do much there. All right, let's continue. Tesla. So this is very interesting to me because this is, if the market shows strength today, this is your retest opportunity on Tesla. Believe it or not, right? You might not like it, but this is your opportunity if we see strength today. That's a big if, right? That's a big if. We do not know. But Tesla has just pulled back to the previous highs, and this right here is the type of move that I look for, right? This is my strategy, right? So I did this on Microsoft. I'll share it with you guys in a second, but this is my strategy, right? This is the break and retest. It had a break of a previous double top rejection, and it has now retested, right? So I am very interested in Tesla today because it is aligning with the strategy that I look for. Previous double top rejection, it has pulled back to it, and it is finding some support here in the pre-market as we speak. If Tesla can bounce off this 188 area and continue, right, and have some strength, this could very well be a nice little setup, right? We've seen this a lot on this market. I'll share some more opportunities with you today. You can see Tesla's really moving to the upside as we speak. Definitely watching Tesla here off this 188 and the 20 SMA. Break and retest, previous double top rejection, watching that today. I'll just say that, right? That's definitely a watch for me. I don't know whether it holds, right? The break and retest doesn't always work, but when I see it, I like to put some risk on the table. So I am definitely going to be watching this today. That is the 20 SMA right there. That blue line, that's the 20. So the 20 SMA, that's a short-term SMA. We are holding that today with the retest at 188.50. Definitely got my eyes on that one today. All right, Microsoft. This is the Microsoft trade I took, and I closed green about 50% on Friday, so I am still holding some. I've sold half into the weekend before the weekend closed. So if you're part of the Discord, you saw that. I'll pull it up here. So right here, right, Microsoft, you guys see we had the little break and retest form. That's something we've been watching here in the pre-market. Took some December 9th 260s and closed these up. I scaled 2 off at 50%, and I held 3 into the weekend. So I scaled 2 into 50%, got it off that retest. Very nice push off the retest. Scaled out, doing the right thing, not holding a full position over the weekend. Took a little bit of risk, $300. It's nothing that's gonna make or break my day. But I took this for what reason, right? I took this because this was a break, right? Big break on Microsoft. We've been talking about the retest of 248, 250 every single day on this live stream. What did we get Friday morning? We got the pullback straight to the previous highs. And it is not some type of coincidence that this is the move off that level, right? It's not just some type of coincidence, all right? We pulled back, previous highs, perfect support, right at the previous rejection points, pulled back to it, held it as support, and pushed off of it. So today, I'm looking to see, can Microsoft continue this push? Can Microsoft continue to hold 248, the previous triple top rejection point? Can it turn it into support, which it already has? Can it maintain that support? And if it does, can I get this break? If you did not get in Microsoft, right? If you are not in on this retest, right? You do not buy now, right? This is a big thing that a lot of traders, I think, fail with, right? If you did not take advantage of the pullback, right? The retest trade, which is where you want to look to go long, because these option contracts are depleted. The premiums are dead. They move down very quickly, so the premiums are very much down, and you look for the opportunity when everyone may be getting bearish, or you look for the opportunity when those option contracts are at their lows, right? So you're looking for that opportunity on the pullback at the retest, and you're looking to get long off the retest trade. But now, right, now that it moved higher, your risk to reward is completely backwards, right? Your risk to reward is now backwards for the upside. So if I was looking to go long on Microsoft, here's what I would look for. I would either look for the break of 256 and the trade off the retest here and go long off that, or I would look for another pullback to 250, see if it holds again, and then look to go long for maybe another push to the upside. These are your only 2 long entries on Microsoft. Those are the only places where risk reward makes sense. Why? Because if you go long here, you stop out under 256. That's a very quick, it's a very easy stop loss level to pay attention to, right? That's where your risk to reward is good. Your risk is very small under 256. Your reward is for another push. Here, risk to reward is good as well because your stop is right under 248 and your reward is back up to 256. Here, right? If you get in long here on Microsoft, there is no, your stop has to be back at 248. Your stop has to be here, right? Why would you stop out before 248? It's still bullish. If you stop out before 248, you're stopping out in still a bullish technical area. So that is why your risk to reward is just backwards. Here's your risk, right? That's your risk. And your reward is maybe a push back into the highs. What if it rejects the highs? There's your risk to reward going long here on Microsoft. Just totally backwards. These are the things that people mess up with. You have to pay attention to that. So watch out for that today. I would look for either a 250 pullback or look for a 256 break and retest. If the market's weak, right, the downside risk to reward is the right play. Right? If the market's weak, there's your risk to reward on the downside. Something like that, right? You stop out over 256, your reward is down to 248. That makes more sense. Okay? That's the important stuff that you got to pay attention to on these markets. You got to know when you got to sort of pay attention to when that move is it's over, right? Sometimes you just miss it. Meta, sick. Just a sick hold. I mean, look at this. So if you missed Meta, which I did again. I did twice, so I'm not going to say like I catch them all, right? I wish I could. I wish I was Ash Ketchum, but I am not. Maybe one day. If you missed this Meta downtrend break, right? If you missed this squeeze right here on Wednesday of last week, here was your next entry. The previous highs into a insanely strong support right there. Look how clean that was. Previous rejection high at 117. We broke it. We retested it. And look at the hold that came in right at the previous highs on Friday. So that was sick. That is, again, a fantastic example of the break and retest. And this is exactly why I trade this setup. You can see how clean that was. Previous highs. You pull back to it on Friday. You hold it as support. And that was just a sick and opportunity on Meta. So, in my opinion, it's over, right? I can't trade Meta now. It's gone. I missed the opportunity. It pushed off the retest. My entries had to be here. If I'm not getting long here at this retest level, then I'm just chasing this. So I want to see a pullback on Meta. My pullback level I'd watch is probably back to these levels here around 121, 120.8, maybe even the 50 SMA. But I need to now see a retest before I can look to go long. So I'm going to look for maybe a retest back to 121, right up in here. See if I can catch a retest off that level. If not, then, I missed this move. Meta, maybe up to 128.50. That's the gap fill. This one might have been the cleanest that I've seen in some time. Here is Boeing. And let's take a moment of silence for this one. So here's the daily chart on Boeing, right? Do you see what I'm looking at here? So I do have Pokemon cards. I have a lot, actually. So previous highs, right? 171. Previous triple top. Rejection, leg lower, right? This time around, in October into November, big push. Excuse me. Big push. What did we do over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Over the last 14 days, over the last 2 weeks of trading, what did we do on Boeing? We maintained the previous highs, right? This was sick. Let me see if I can find. I would like to show you how this looked sort of forming, so you can get a good picture of what this sort of looks like as it's forming. It's useful to get a picture, because sometimes you see it in hindsight and you're like, all right, yeah, that looks pretty nice, but how does this look? If I can, 1 second. It's not working. That's great. Let me see if I can find Boeing real quick. All right, here's like, this is not back far enough, but I will share this. So here's Boeing. 1 second. All right, so here's Boeing sort of as it was forming on the 4-hour chart. So you guys can see right here, previous highs. And then if you're sort of just monitoring this chart over time, you can see how Boeing just continued to sort of maintain that low. Every time we move down into that low, you continue to wick up. All these wicks on the previous at the lows, which was the previous high rejection point. You can see all the wicks that were forming at that previous high. And then you can see eventually here on the, let me close this up. Eventually, we can see now, as we look at this chart now, you can see we did get the eventual push. Now, of course, this one, it did get helped out by the news. So it's sort of like a break and retest that you just sort of get lucky with in a sense, because you did get a news-related move on Boeing. But a very nice break and retest there. I would watch for continuation on Boeing. Watch for it to move maybe back up into this 187 area. This is a previous, all these previous support levels here at 187. Watch out for that move up into 187. So watch that Boeing move. That looks pretty nice. FedEx. So FedEx is on a lot of people's watch because FedEx still has about just about $20 of upside into the gap fill. So you can see up here, we still have about, we're at around 180. 200 is where that gap fill starts to come in. So you can see all this support at 200. That's where that gap came back down to. So I would look for that 200 push. The thing that happened on Friday, which was important, was the 180 hold. So right here, I'm going to go to the hourly chart. You guys can see right here on FedEx, we held the 180 level. So we had a previous high around 180, and we turned it into support, right? 180, previous rejection, into support. That is something I would watch today. FedEx, 180. See if that thing can hold there. If it can, I would look for a continuation move here into the gap fill, right? If FedEx can hold 180, I would watch that. Shopify. So the one thing I like that Shop is doing, or that Shop did, was this right here. This was really what kept me bullish on Shopify, and it was the retest of these previous highs here, right? You can see right here, previous rejection around 41.50, previous rejection around this 41 level, this whole 41.50 to 41 level, or 41 to 41.50, this 50-cent range was a previous rejection point. Now, if we see what happened on Friday, we can see on Friday we came right back down to that level, right? On the news, we held there, and then at open, we just sort of rocketed higher off that level. So this gave me some confidence in Shop that it wanted to hold that 41.50 area. It wanted to hold that 41 area. That is a previous rejection point. And this is, again, just another break and retest. It happens all the time. So previous rejection point, pull back to it, turn it into support, push off of it. This keeps me bullish on Shop. As long as Shop is above this 41.50, 41 area, I will continue to stay bullish here. As long as Shop maintains this low. If Shop breaks this low, then you'll probably see something like this. All right, if Shop breaks this previous high, turns it into a rejection again, then I would probably look for the downside. But as long as Shop is above 41.50, I like that retest hold. So keeping an eye on that. We can go to end phase. Yeah, so I got stopped out at end phase. I'll go ahead and pull up. I actually posted the entries and exits on my Twitter and on Instagram, but I'll pull it up here again. Here it is. Oh, no, it was just on my Instagram. Do I still have it up? Let's see. No, I don't. So here's my entries and exits. So I got end phase puts. I bought them at $6.63, and then I sold them at $2.48. So it's about a $400 loser there on end phase. I had to get stopped out, right? It was time. I didn't want to see this squeeze happen. I wanted to see end phase stay below this 325. But you guys saw on Friday it just sort of squeezed through that 325, and there's really nothing I can do about that, right? I had to take my loss. So took my loss on end phase. It looks like it's still a beast. What would I look for now? If you are bullish on end phase here, if you think this continues, then look for the retest. I mean, hell, it might still be a nice retest trade, right? Look for that retest. So you can see right here, previous highs, we broke it. This is a break and retest if it holds. So I have to, I have to focus on the technicals here. So you can see previous highs, we broke out. If we come back down, if we hold this, if we start to maintain a support here, then that's a break and retest, right? For more upside potentially. So yeah, keep an eye on that on end phase. Look for the pullback to 325. That could be a nice opportunity if end phase holds that momentum in the short term. Netflix. Yeah, Netflix, it's going, man. I'm pretty happy to be in the shares. I'm not sure I want to really get involved in the option side, but just watch out for the 330 level, right? That's where I'd watch out for. Your risk to reward's getting a little bit tight up here, right? If you're not in, since if you haven't been sort of in this, be careful chasing it on a daily basis. You're getting close to the gap fill. You're about 10 points off. Your risk to reward here is starting to get a little bit skewed. So, yeah, I'm not so much of a fan of Netflix anymore. I've caught it with shares since the low 200s, but I missed it with options. I really don't have interest now because if it rejects 330, it could be a nasty, reversal again, right? So, the only place I'd get interested for upside is if we get a break of 330 and a very strong hold above 330, then I would look for that move. But without that, I'm not going to be buying calls into a previous low. There's no reason to be doing that. Okay. Let's bring up Costco. I am going to watch Costco. Costco has earnings this week. Actually, no, let me go quickly, and I forgot to clear out the ticker form for you guys. So let me go ahead and do that, the ticker form. Let me adjust these dates here for everyone so that you guys can put your tickers in there today. Take a quick break. All right, you should be good now. If you guys have access to the ticker form, you can put those tickers in there for us to look at today. All right, cool. So Costco, I'm watching this 490 area. I'm going to see what it does there around 490, right? You guys see this previous high and this previous support area right around this 490. You can see Costco's had a really, really bad week, right? Off some pretty decent volume, down about 8%. I want to see what happens at this 490, right? Right around here. So I'm going to keep an eye on that 490, see what happens at Costco there, around that area on Costco, and see if there's any type of signs of some kind of support. That's going to be something I will be watching, right? 490 on Costco. Keeping an eye on that. I'm actually going to create an alert there. I'm going to create alert at or below. I'm going to go 490.5. Just so I can get a good, just so I remember if it's hitting that, I want to be watching. Let's go into the chip stocks because there are some interesting things going on in the chip stocks. I want to look at NVIDIA, TSM, and AMD. NVIDIA, you guys probably already seen it, but you can see what NVIDIA did here, right? Break and retest. Once again, previous highs into support. That's a break and retest. Very clear, right? You can see the rejections up at 172s. That's a big, heavy level up there. Do we have any SMAs up here? We don't. Where's the 200 at? Okay, the 200's up at 176. But if we go to the hourly chart, right, this is a break and retest right here. break previous high, we break the previous high, we pull back to it. What do? We turn it into support. So, in my opinion, to be bullish on Nvidia has to be above 166. If you break 166, then I'm not bullish here, because this create a lower low, right? You could create a lower low and a lower high here. So you have to be careful of that. If you get a pullback on Nvidia, you need to see it start to build here again around 166. So look to see if you can get a build off 166. If you can, right, then this could be creating a little bit of a flag here. All right, we could be creating a little bit of a bull flag here. If we start to hold this 166, let's say we get a nice, let's say the market is strong, then look for that little flag to break out off the retest of 166. All right, that's what I would be watching for. If we break 166, then you can clearly see, right, that this setup invalidates, right? It invalidates the move, so you can't take it, because you can see previous highs into support. You break that support, you're making lower lows. That is in no way, sense, or form bullish, because you are breaking a previous low. But if you hold a previous high into support, that is still bullish, because you're turning previous rejections into support. So 166, watch that. If you can get a continuation move on the market, just watch out for this 170, 172 area. It's heavy up there. All right, if I zoom out here, you can see why it's heavy. It's because you can clearly see this is a very important previous bottom here, and turning it into rejections again. So watch out for that 172, 170 area. AMD, right? Very, very distinct channel AMD is in. I talked about this in the Discord this morning. When a stock is in a channel like this, there's only two things you can do, right? There's only two things you can do. You can either buy the lows or sell the highs until you're wrong. That's all you can do. You either, right, as much as your emotion tells you not to do it, you buy here. And if you've done that over the last 2 weeks, you've won every time, right? If you've bought calls at the lows over the last 2 weeks, you have made money every single time. And if you bought puts at the highs instead of trying to trade the breakout, you have made money every single time, right? And that is all you can do here until you're wrong. So you continue to trade this. You continue to trade the channel that way. You buy puts here, or you sell calls here. You buy calls here, or sell puts here, right? And that's what you do until you're wrong. And once you're wrong, then there's another trade, right? Then there's the breakout trade, or there is the breakdown trade if you are wrong. So that's how you look at a channel. That's how I would continue to look at this channel. If AMD is in the middle of the channel, I would not touch it. If AMD is at either side of the channel, I would look for the inverse trade. If you're moving lower, look for the upside bounce. If you're moving higher, look to sell it until you're wrong, right? That's all you can do. There's nothing else you can do there. TSM, unless you want to try to guess the breakout, that's up to you. TSM, right? What has TSM done every time it has hit 83? It has rejected, right? You can see the rejections here. You can see the rejections here. You can see the rejections here. So what are we doing again? We're rejecting 83. If the market's weak, then look to see if TSM breaks down off 83 again. My only concern here is that I think, which is, listen, right? It's already coming in. This is human nature, right? And I'm doing it myself. I'm not a perfect trader. I'm not a perfect investor. I am a human being as well. My mind here tells me that TSM wants to go higher, because I feel like it's sort of coiling, and I feel like this Warren Buffett stake is nothing to sort of be, to just sort of forget about. I think the stake that Warren Buffett has taken in this stock is helping it maintain itself here. So I'm a little bit more biased to not shorting TSM at 83 because of that reason. But now, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, right? I have no idea. Whether that's right, whether that's wrong, that's just my human nature coming in. That's just my sort of external, factors coming into my mind, right? Do I want to short this stock with Warren Buffett taking a stake, with it sort of holding this level, right? Do I want to short here at 83, or do I think TSM has a little bit of that, that external Warren Buffett jazz going on here? I don't know, right? I can't tell you that for sure, but that's just something I would say as a precaution. If you do look to short TSM at 83, just it's interesting how these things work, right? You got the you got the Warren Buffett effect going on a little bit, so just be careful of that. All right. Let's go into the ticker form. Then we got to get out of here. I think we had almost 1,500 people on the stream today, so thank you guys for being here. I hope you did enjoy it so far. I hope this helped you with this Monday morning. If it did, if you could take 1 second out of your day, press that like button for me, guys. We have never gotten past, I think, 500 likes while I'm on stream. So if we could hit that, that would be great. If you guys could press that like button for me, I would very much appreciate that. So we got, let's go over, I'll put Amazon. We got to go real quick here. So focus up. We got XPEV, CrowdStrike, Macy's, which I don't know why we're looking at Macy's, but Macy's, Visa, and Amazon. All right, that's what we're looking at. XPEV. I mean, this is just moving higher with the Asian market strength, right, guys? So this goes for every Asian market stock you are looking at today. BABA, right? Baidu, XPEV, right? XPEV, NEO, PDD, all these Asian market stocks, they are moving up because of the HSI HK. This is the Hang Seng Index. The Hang Seng Index is up 4.5% off of China restrictions being eased. If you believe that continues, then look for the continuation on these moves. It is very possible. There is nothing else moving these stocks besides that positivity out of China. It's not technical. It's nothing I can show you on a chart. It is a fundamental reason. It's a macroeconomic reason. If you believe that continues, that is your personal decision. That is something you have to take as an investor, as a trader. You have to make a decision for yourself. If you think this continues, which it very much can, then I would look for continuation on all the Asian market stocks. But that is up to you. I can't help you with technicals on that. That is simply a Asian market momentum-driven move, which is very possible a continuation move. CrowdStrike, I would look to see if it holds 120. If it does, look for that gap fill. However, just know CrowdStrike is in a deadly downtrend. So I would not look to marry this, but maybe you can trade it back into the gap fill here. Just be careful of that long-term downtrend. Visa, I've been sort of watching Visa myself. Visa is right into this rejection point, right? So, watch out for this area. 215, 216. Maybe it can hold it, right? If Visa can get a pretty nice, I mean, it sort of already did do a break and retest, didn't it? Hold on a second here. I just sort of saw that. I mean, this is interesting on Visa. I mean, these stocks have been strong. Visa, all these Dow stocks have been very strong. So look at this right here on Visa, right? You can see this 213, 215, right? So watch out for that. Look to see if Visa can hold that 213 area, 214. Last one I got for you is Amazon. I just don't like Amazon, guys. It has showed once again why it's a stock that I just don't really enjoy. In 2019 to 2020, it went sideways for 2 years. You guys can see back here. Amazon traded sideways for 2 years, and it just looks sort of dead again. And it's in the exact same area, right? See this exact same area on Amazon where it traded sideways from 2018 to 2020? 2 years, Amazon traded sideways. We are in the exact same area, and I got to be honest with you, the excitement on this stock just looks pretty much dead. As of right now, I do not like Amazon for upside. It has clearly underperformed. It clearly is heavy here. And I would be very cautious on this. It's stuck in between that same range from 2 years ago. It very well could do that same thing again. So just be careful on Amazon. All right, guys, that's all I got. I hope you did enjoy the live stream. If you did, please press that like button before you head out. Looks like we're getting those likes. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you want to stay tuned, I do this every single day starting at 8 a.m. If you want to trade live, this coffee's got me worked up. If you want to trade live with me every day, Discord down below. And hope you have a fantastic day. Let's do it all again tomorrow. And have a fantastic day. Be safe out there. Be smart. It's Monday morning. Don't ruin the start of your week. Be patient. Look for a setup. Look for pullbacks. Look for opportunities. Watch your levels. Don't just make boredom trades. trade a strategy and stick to it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. Peace out.
Bye.